At the edge of a quiet village, where dust-colored paths met fields that breathed with wind, lived a boy named Ayan. He was 12, thin as a reed, with eyes that noticed everything and a heart that carried more weight than his small frame suggested. Ayan lived with his grandfather, Ibrahim, in a modest house of sun-warmed brick. Ibrahim's hands were lined like old maps, his voice calm and steady, as if it had learned patience from time itself. Ayan believed he was ordinary to the point of being invisible. At school, louder voices rose above his. In the village, stronger boys were chosen first for work and games. He did what he was told, kept his head down, and carried a quiet thought he never spoke aloud. Maybe I don't matter very much. One late afternoon, the sky fading into soft amber, Ibrahim called Ayan to the courtyard. The scent of earth lingered after a brief rain. Without explanation, Ibrahim placed a small stone in Ayan's palm. It was smooth on one side, rough on the other, gray with faint flecks that caught the light. "Take this to the market tomorrow," Ibrahim said. "Show it to people. If they ask for a price, don't sell it. Just listen." Ayan frowned but nodded. He had learned that his grandfather's lessons rarely arrived wrapped in clarity. The next morning, the market hummed with life. Cloth snapped in the breeze. Metal rang against metal. Voices tangled and untangled in bargaining songs. Ayan moved between stalls, holding the stone. A vegetable seller glanced at it and shrugged. "Worth nothing," he said. "A stone is a stone." A potter turned it over once, uninterested. "You can find 100 like it on the road." Ayan felt his shoulders sink. Each dismissal pressed against the belief he already carried. He thanked them politely and walked on. At the edge of the market, near baskets of spices glowing like embers, an older woman took the stone, weighed it in her palm, and smiled faintly. "It's clean," she said, "but still, I wouldn't pay for it." She handed it back gently, as if returning a fragile thing. By midday, Ayan's feet ached. He sat on a low wall and stared at the stone. It looked smaller now, lighter. He wondered if his grandfather had sent him on a pointless errand, or if this was proof of something he already feared. That evening, Ibrahim listened without interrupting as Ayan described the market. The old man nodded and placed the stone back in Ayan's hand. "Tomorrow," he said, "take it to the hill road. There's a man who works with stones. Show it to him." The hill road wound upward, lined with scrub and quiet. The man Ibrahim mentioned was a stone cutter, his yard filled with slabs and dust, tools resting like sleeping animals. He took the stone from Ayan and held it to the light. His eyes narrowed, not with interest exactly, but attention. "It's common," he said at last. "Not rare, but it's well-shaped." He set it down. "I could give you a small coin for it." Ayan's heart skipped. Demonstrably small, perhaps, but more than nothing. He remembered Ibrahim's instruction and shook his head. The stone cutter shrugged, unoffended, and returned it. On the way home, the wind carried the smell of pine. Ayan felt something unfamiliar stirring, confusion mixed with a cautious hope. That night, Ibrahim said nothing more than, "One last place." The following day, they walked together beyond the village to a quiet workshop tucked into a bend of the river. Inside, a jeweler worked beneath a window, light pouring over trays of crystals and metal. Ibrahim greeted him by name and gestured for Ayan to step forward. The jeweler took the stone and did not rush. He cleaned it, examined it with a lens, then smiled. Not a polite smile, but one edged with discovery. "This," he said softly, "is not just a stone." He explained how the flecks were signs, how pressure and time had shaped something hidden within. With careful hands, he tested it, revealing a gleam beneath the gray. "I would pay well for this," the jeweler said. He named a sum that made Ayan's breath catch. Ayan looked at Ibrahim, uncertain. Ibrahim shook his head gently. They left with the stone still in Ayan's pocket, the river murmuring behind them. When they reached home, Ibrahim finally spoke. "The stone didn't change," he said. "Only the hands that held it did." Ayan sat on the steps, the courtyard quiet around them. Ibrahim continued, his voice steady. "Some will look at you and see nothing. Some will see a little. A few will know how to look deeper. Your value isn't decided by those who don't understand it." Ayan felt warmth spread through him, not loud or dramatic, but firm. He thought of the market, the hill road, the workshop by the river. He thought of the years ahead, of voices that might dismiss him, of moments that would test his worth. That night, he placed the stone on his windowsill. Moonlight found the hidden gleam, faint but real. For the first time, Ayan did not feel invisible. He felt unfinished, full of becoming. Days passed. Ayan stood a little straighter. He listened, learned, asked questions. When doubt returned, as it sometimes did, he remembered the stone, unchanged, patient, valuable long before anyone knew how to see it. And in the quiet of the village, under skies that kept moving forward, Ayan began to understand that his life carried a worth no bargain could set, no dismissal could erase, and no silence could diminish.